Hello and welcome to the Empowered, Sensitive and Creative podcast. My name is Rim. I'm an artist, a certified life coach and an NLP practitioner, and the creator of the Empowered, Sensitive and Creative retreats. Passionate about celebrating joy and beauty in the everyday, especially when things are falling apart, I'm insatiably curious about human nature, and I look into the world with reverence, awe, and a sense of wonder. Tune in for stories exploring healing through creativity, art, embracing sensitivity, and navigating the subconscious mind. I'll talk about the struggles that highly sensitive and creative people face, and share my experiences, insights, and favorite tools along the way. I'm here to empower you to turn what we often deem to be a curse into your biggest gift. I believe that the more we create together, the more we heal the world. So let's dive in. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Empowered, Sensitive and Creative podcast. I'm so happy and grateful for you tuning in.
And also super excited to be back on the podcast after this 6 weeks. I think it's been 6 weeks break, and I'm even more grateful for you to tuning back in and for trusting me to come back and to take the time I need to process things when I need to, because this is what has been the case. I mentioned in the latest podcast episode that I was on the verge of a big international move, and I did it. And I'm safe, yoo-hoo. And it's been amazing and wonderful and also crazy in many ways. And it was really impossible for me to come back on the podcast before. I've been trying to several times. I was like, oh, this week is the week I come back to the podcast. This week is the week I come back. But really, there has been some external forces that were outside of my control, and like urgent things that I really had to deal with. And it's been done. And now things are, let's say, a little bit more grounded. So I'm finally able to come back, and I'm really happy about that. There have been a lot of adventures and interesting stories, and I will share with you in the next episodes, maybe next one or maybe in a few episodes. And I think it's gonna be interesting for you too, as a sensitive and a creative soul. But for today, I am sharing a conversation I had with Parul Prashar. It's a conversation I recorded before my move, so I recorded it back in August, and I'm so happy and thrilled to finally being able to share it with you. I first got in touch with Parul last spring. I did a podcast interview on her podcast, and I really loved chatting with her. She's also a sensitive soul, and she's very smart, and I love chatting with her. She's very curious and always asking to learn more and not taking things at face value. This is something I really admire in her. And she has a very calming and soothing energy. Parul is a technologist with a creative spirit, a coach with a compassionate touch, a writer who is ready to dive into choosing the right words to inspire, and an explorer of both the tangible and intangible. While her professional foundation is rooted in computer science engineering, she has seamlessly woven together a multifaceted identity that transcends the boundaries of her technical origins. Beyond her engineering expertise, she is also a writer and author of 10 Days to the Ultimate You workbook and a mindset shift coach. She likes to channel her abilities to inspire and empower others on their personal journeys using inner child healing, self-love, and other coaching techniques. She is also an advocate of self-love and she tries her best to spread this message through the airwaves on her podcast and the visual medium of her two YouTube channels. Parul always had an unquenchable thirst for knowledge and boundless curiosity about being a highly sensitive individual. Despite her technical inclination, she has also ventured into the realms of spirituality and creativity with enthusiasm and an open heart. This unique amalgamation of interest has given her a dynamic personality, and she refuses to be confined by the constraints of any single discipline. And I love that about her. Without further ado, let's dive in. Welcome
Hi,
to the
Rim.
podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here. Thank you.
Let's start with you telling me a bit about yourself. Where are you from? Where did you grow up? Where are you based now?
Okay, so I'm from India and I grew up in North India and these days I'm living in South India.
Do you want to mention the city or you'd rather not?
Yeah, I'm living in Bangalore. So it is one of the cities in South India. Yeah, and I'm living here. I've been living here since 2018. Yeah,
Okay,
and I'm loving it.
you're loving it. Great. And do you know your main astrological signs?
Yes, I am Sagittarius Sun, and I have tried reading my chart. I'm not really sure. My moon is in Libra, and I'm either Pisces ascendant or I'm Aquarius ascendant. So I'm not really sure about that. But yeah, I'm Sagittarius in Sun, North Node in Capricorn, South Node in Cancer. That's all I know.
That's interesting that your rising is different.
Yeah.
Is it because you tried on different website or did you try with different birth times or like the minutes or the location?
Actually, I tried on different websites, but I'm not really sure actually because on some websites it's Pisces ascendant, and at that time I used to resonate more with that because I understand like Pisces is a water sign, and all the emotions and everything. Then on a different website it was Aquarius ascendant and Aquarius, like the sign of Aquarius, it is more of associated with new ideas, creativity, and all that. So I resonate with that aspect also. So yeah, I'm not really sure.
If you resonate with both,
Yeah,
that's what counts. Okay, and you recently discovered human design thanks to our previous podcast episode, the podcast I did, it's podcast number
yeah, yeah,
16 with Bianca. And tell me, what did you find out?
right, right. So first of all, I thoroughly enjoyed that podcast. I think there were so many golden nuggets. Specifically, like Bianca, you and Bianca, you both talked about the concept of death. That was like specifically intriguing. And then another one was, earning money as a highly sensitive person, because I've also struggled with that. And yes, human design, that was something new. So I think my profile is energy type is projector, and my profile is 2-4. So that is hermit and opportunist.
Yes,
Yeah.
so it's this kind of balance, the need between withdrawing, being with yourself, and the need for connecting with other people.
Right, yeah. And actually, like, I was studying more about it because I came to know about, human design only a few days ago. I think it makes a lot of sense. As a projector and as a 2-4 energy type, 2 is like for hermit. So hermit is more of like, staying isolated. I'm usually like I'm an introvert also, so I resonate with that. And then I also have a need to connect with other people, but it's more of like I don't believe in having so many connections. If I'm making connections, if I'm networking, it's more of like I don't want them to be superficial ones. I want connections for like long term connections. Yeah, and as a projector type also, like waiting for invitations and trying to guide everybody. So there were a lot of things that I discovered when I studied. Yeah,
Yeah, that's I think human design is really impressive. It's really spot on most of the time,
right.
really spot on. And I think the
Mhm.
connection that you said, like the pull push between, not the pull push, but this need, like enjoying connections, but needing them to be really about quality rather than quantity. I think it's also quite a trait quite common amongst high sensitive people. What do you think about that?
Right. Yeah, yes, yes. I think so because many highly sensitive people are introverts. Some of them are extroverts also because I think 3, 4 years ago, I was part of a podcast and the host was a highly sensitive person, but she was also an extrovert. So I think there are like different aspects, and highly sensitive people are also different. But yes, one thing
Yes.
I've seen that like 90% of them, they all want, like deep connections, small talks, small conversations, superficial talks. It drains highly sensitive
Yes.
people. Yes.
I would say with the cat
Right.
that sometimes, at least I've noticed, sometimes I prefer to do small talk if it's with somebody I don't feel comfortable with or that I don't feel that I can
Yeah.
trust, then I would much better staying on the surface and I would be like putting all my energetic protection around me and it would be like, do not enter my
Right.
space. And I don't want to
Right.
go beyond that.
Yeah, yeah. Right. Yes, yes. I have struggled with that as well because it's really hard to, trust and be, vulnerable with someone. Yeah, definitely. I have done that. I
But
still do
is it a
sometimes.
struggle though? Maybe it's not a struggle. Maybe it's a healthy protection mechanism, like as in, setting boundaries and being careful, not careful, but like not allowing anyone to get into our private sphere because we
Mhm.
don't need to be, we don't need to divulge everything to everyone.
Right. Yeah. Yes, yes, definitely. Like, but with highly sensitive people, what I feel, because we are like, minority, so it can be sometimes it can be really hard. Like, if let's say like when I was not aware of this concept of highly sensitive people, I would everybody wants to, feel accepted in society, right? So you
Mhm.
have to sometimes you have to take that risk. Sometimes you have to, open up. And that was like more of like, experimenting. Let's see, I'll find my tribe. But then um I'm not sure, like I can't speak for every highly sensitive people, but at least for me, at the end of the day, I would feel like maybe something is wrong with me. What do I need to change? Like where should I change, right? So that I will be more like others and less like me. But yes, but otherwise I think it's a good yeah, protection mechanism.
I agree with you. Yes, you're right. We need to take some risks at some point, of course, in order to like we can give a chance to people. Sometimes like we don't know how much they're able to handle if we don't give them a chance,
Right,
for sure.
right.
That's true.
Yeah, yeah.
But perhaps this is also something that can take a little bit of time. Like, uh, how can I say? Maybe there would be like different layers of giving ourselves away and with some people we
Right.
feel naturally
Yes.
comfortable to be more open and I think we can, what I mean is we can be ourselves and we can be open
Right.
and at the same time not disclose too much.
Right. Yeah, yeah. And listening to your intuition, because earlier I used to like, that inner voice, it says something, but I'll try to use my logic and, shut it down. and then
Yeah.
later on I'll regret. So I think, yeah, it's you have to maintain like a balance between both. Yes, yes. I'm
We're
not
gonna
saying
talk.
like, just go out there and yeah, trust everybody, but yes, you're right. There are like, different layers to that.
And also like exactly what you said, I think often, of course, we cannot talk about all highly sensitive people, but I think many of us have experienced that we think we are wrong, or that we are weird, or that we are different, and therefore we are kind of a little bit lost, and then we don't really know, like we don't know how to set boundaries. Maybe it's either we don't share anything and we are very closed, either we overshare sometimes. So, like trying to
Right,
balance the levels. Whereas when we learn more
right,
about ourselves, and when we begin to accept who we are and love ourselves the way we are, then step by step, little by little, I think we can manage to have better boundaries and to be more in control of what we want to share and what we don't want to share, but not out of fear, out of shame, out of guilt, more out of love for
right,
ourselves. It's like
right.
different. It's coming from a different place.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, yes. Because most of the times, we are told that don't do, don't say like that, don't be like that, don't be emotional. What are you talking about? And then, yeah, we don't, resonate with those topics that everybody else is talking about. And that also makes you feel like an outcast. Why can't I, talk like they talk? Why can't I do things they do? Why do I feel energetically drained after spending time with this, group? Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And awareness, I think that's the key. Being aware of this trait and yeah, not feeling ashamed. Yes.
Speaking of awareness, can you share when and how did you discover that you were a highly sensitive person, and how did that affect your life?
Um, I think I first came across this concept back in 2018 when I was working in an organization. Um, yeah, let me see how I can put it in words. Okay, yes. So I think I always knew that I was very emotional because people around you always tell you that you are very emotional. You're watching a movie or something, you start crying, you feel things deeply. So I knew somewhere that yes, I am emotional, and I used to Google like, how can I be less emotional? How can I change myself and all that? But I think that was like back in 2018, I was working in an organization, and it was like there have been many moments maybe that led to that awakening, but that was like so I was trying to take the day off for some personal matters, and I decided to speak with the boss, like the head of the department, and the way she communicated, I mean there were some misunderstandings, and that led to my tearing up in front of her. And I had those moments earlier as well in other organizations, but there like I would not really it wasn't really like in the open. So I would maybe go for a bathroom break or something and then maybe feel all those emotions and then come out. But that was like, so they also felt like maybe I was trying to manipulate or something. That made me think like I really need to work on myself, change myself, otherwise I will not be able to survive in these organization. And for me, like career is a big thing. So I was like, what am I how am I supposed to climb that career ladder if that's how I'm going to react every now and then. But then like I think after that incident, after 2 months I left that job because I put a lot of thought into uh, first of all, like I actually decided like Googling certain things about like why, what should I do, how should I change myself and all that. Then I came across this test, a highly sensitive person test,
Did the test by Dr. Elaine
Elan
Aaron?
Aaron, yes.
Yeah.
And then I ordered her book. I read it. Then I, joined a few Facebook groups. And then I realized that I'm not alone. Okay, there are people out there. And yes, then I decided that maybe I should, just take a break from this job. I resigned and then I, started exploring more and more about highly sensitivity and all that.
So it was a big change.
It really was.
Like the biggest time, I think you mentioned before we recorded that this was the big change in your life. Is that right?
Yes, yes. That was a big change. And there were many situations even before that where I felt like, this is going to be life changing. This is going to be life changing. But yes, this was sort of like it was life changing, but at the same time, it gave me a direction also. Like I wasn't completely lost.
Before you felt, even though you had some like pivotal moments, you still felt lost. Whereas that time, not only it was a huge change, but also finally it was giving you a direction, a meaning maybe as well.
Yes, yes. Because I knew, like, uh, earlier, like, I always felt like there is something wrong with me. So I need to, change myself and all that. But this incident, like, this was the moment when I knew that, okay, I am a highly sensitive person. So it's not like I have to change myself, but I definitely need to, learn more about it. And and one more thing, like sometimes we try to, again, trying to fit in and you know we try to change ourselves so that we will be accepted in a particular environment or a society or something or in an organization, but this time I felt like I don't need to change. I just need to find people who are more like me. So instead of trying to change others or trying to change myself, I need to find people who are more like me. Yeah, yeah. I think that was the
Oh,
awareness at
wow.
that time.
That's great. Yes, it's totally a different way of seeing things.
Yeah,
It's the beginning of self-acceptance.
exactly.
So, how about your environment? Your family, your
Mhm.
friends, your loved ones, how did they react when you discovered you were an HSP and when you decided to change your life, to quit your job and all of that?
Mhm. Okay, so it was not a very harsh reaction, I think. My husband has been very supportive, right? And my parents also. But yes, um, certain things like, I think they also understand. I don't really um, talk about certain things that maybe even before, like I didn't feel comfortable talking about those things, but just to make the other person feel comfortable, I'll talk about it. And maybe after the conversation I will really feel drained. But I, again, the concept of boundaries, I didn't really maybe respect my boundaries. So I will just let anyone jump in and start a conversation on any subject that interests them. I will not even think about like whether I want to talk about it or not. But yes, after after the awareness, I sort of like and because I'm a projector, so now I understand. I don't really have, because I read somewhere that projectors don't really have to voice, like we don't have to be vocal about our boundaries. We can just let the other person know by shift in our energies or maybe those subtle gestures. So if I'm not talking to you for a long time, you haven't heard from me, that means like I didn't really, appreciate our conversation, like earlier conversation. So I think people started, getting some idea. Yeah.
Really? Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
Everyone in my
yeah.
family is a projector. I'm the only generator. So
Oh,
my niece
really?
is manifesting generator, but everyone is a projector. So interesting. And they are all,
Okay. Yeah.
except my mother, they are all they are doing a lot of silence treatment. Instead of saying, they just disappear. And I
Okay.
used to feel very offended by that. Like really offended.
Right. And to be very honest, like I don't think silent treatment is a good idea. But for me, because I'm a Sagittarius also, so I am like freedom is a big thing for me. and like, being able to like feeling free that I can say whatever I want to say, right? So I think earlier I had tried communicating my needs with others, but then I did not really like, I didn't feel like, they were appreciative of me sharing my needs, or I felt like, somewhere the needs were not even respected. So it was like more of I was asked to change because, society wants you to be like that and all that. Then I learned that, okay, it's fine. Like more of like, then I started doing that. That okay, if I'll try to communicate once, but because I've seen like some people, they will not change. They can't change. Some people are, they are just that way. So it's better to communicate your needs, by those subtle gestures or just staying silent. Because
Definitely.
I'm all
I
for
totally agree
communication.
with you. Well, it's interesting,
Yeah,
that your
yeah.
moon, you say your moon is in Libra, right?
L- yeah, Libra.
Yeah, Libra is about mastering relationships and yeah, mastering relationships. So it's so interesting.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it's
okay,
interesting.
yes, I agree with you. I agree with you that some people do not change, and I would also add that setting your boundaries and being more yourself is not about changing other people. It's about being you, being more you, and being
Right.
happy being you, no matter what others think of you. Like not playing their game or not being who you think they think you are. You should be
Right.
like not being influenced by that.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. And I think as you respect your boundaries, you are also teaching them to, respect their boundaries. So it's not like that I have created boundaries and, they are not allowed to uh, talk to me about certain subjects or topics, like, right? But at the same time, I'm also respecting their boundaries. So if I want to talk about something, maybe they don't want to talk about it, I respect that. And I think, like, without that, also, we can still have, healthy relationship. We can still enjoy, other aspects of life. We still gather together during, festival season. There are many things like we can still do together, but there are certain things that, I respect my boundaries, and I actually encourage others to respect your boundaries. If you feel like I'm penetrating your boundaries, you are more than welcome to tell me.
Okay, yes, that's fair. And that's true. It's all about respect.
Yeah, right.
And what about the high sensitivity? Did like your husband, your family, your parents, are they also high sensitive? If they are not, do they manage to understand what it means? Do they respect that now about you? Or like, did it change anything except the boundaries? Did it change? Like, because you mentioned before people telling you you're too emotional, like, how is it
Mhm.
now? Like, do you still hear these things, or it has shifted as well?
Right. So I think that has a lot to do with my, understanding my north node and my south node as well. Because as like my south node is in Cancer, so I was always like, the nurturer, always taking care of others and all of that, putting others first and all that. And like then I will be left, like my energy is drained. I don't have anything to give to myself. So Capricorn North Node, it has taught me that I need to be, less dependent on others and be more dependent on myself, right? And going back to your question, whether like there are people in my family who are highly sensitive, my observation says they are, right? Maybe, but because like I am highly sensitive and I have acknowledged it, right? Maybe I feel like they are to some extent because sensitivity, it also has, like you said, different layers. Maybe they are not as sensitive as I am, but definitely I've seen, like in many situations, I wondered, like I felt like, they should also try that test. So I think they are sensitive. Maybe they haven't acknowledged it fully. Maybe they are not, still not, because for me, like it was like a struggle of 3 4 years when I actually decided that, okay, yes, if I have to create boundaries, I will do that. I will, respect my needs. I will respect my self-care needs. If I have to leave this organization and maybe look for other options, I'll do that. Right. So it was like I had to muster a lot of courage to do that. So maybe they haven't like reached that point yet. But yes, I would say, because I read somewhere that highly sensitivity also runs in families. So definitely, I think they are sensitive. And yeah, because like I think you also mentioned in one of your podcasts, you talked about, health issues and all that. So I have been through like hell and back, you can say, and they have seen me struggle. So yes, now I don't really hear like you need to change yourself and all that, because they understand, what it does to my health. And at one point, I even felt like, like this is the end. And that made me even more courageous, that I'm just gonna go after, what I want. Because we don't really know like how many days we are, like how many, like our days are numbered, like, right? As they say. So yes, now I don't
Yes.
really hear anything. And yeah, our relationships are also more, yes, like very harmonious and balanced.
Yes, what you said about maybe they haven't reached the point, I feel like it's true sometimes, like all the time. I feel like it's like, we reach a point where the discomfort of staying put or staying the same is worse than the discomfort of not
Yeah,
knowing,
yes,
or
yes,
that because as you say, you need to be courageous and brave to face yourself or face your shortcomings or face change your habits, change everything. It's heavy, it's not easy. And also change the
right,
way you behave with others, because it's a lot. But then the difficulty of that seems less difficult, less heavy than the difficulty of the struggle of continuing being in this, like repeating the same situations, the same challenges, the same frustration. And some people
right,
don't see it that way, or not yet. Maybe later they will reach that point, but maybe it's also not their path in this lifetime. We don't know.
exactly. Yeah. And many people don't, talk about that, life paths and lifetimes. But yes, I strongly believe in that. And I had a guest on my podcast. She talked about, karmic connections and patterns and everything. So yes, I completely agree with you. Yeah.
I think it's so interesting that you're also Cancer South Node and Capricorn North Node, because we are the opposite.
Yeah. Yes.
We are the opposite.
Yeah.
And I've had different lessons. I've had the opposite lesson. I've had to learn the lesson that it's safe to be nurtured by others, and it's safe to be helped by others. And it's safe also to nurture others. When I was young, I was very cynical. It's not that I didn't help others, but I had this like, like blasé, cynical side. Like I don't want to show my soft heart. And now I'm learning, and I was like more like go, 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 go. And now I'm
Right.
more taking it more slowly, caring less about, like, I do care about career as well. I'm quite ambitious and driven, like just like you. I think it also shows in my human design in different ways. But anyway, but accepting and learning that there are different ways, that it's not everything, and that
Right.
family life and home life and slow life and nurturing is super important too.
Right. I think a challenge for you would be to slow down, right?
It is. It has been really.
Right.
But you know how life goes. It throws things in your
Yeah.
face
Yeah, yeah.
until you when you read when you know, like when you I think when you have the intention that you want to be more you, be more aligned with your true self. I think life will throw you challenges and stuff in your face until you can accept it, and until you
Right.
shift and change it. So for me, it has been
Right.
having a lot of burnouts a lot of burnouts until I am just forced to see, okay, girl, you have to slow down. It's telling you stop pushing. And also as a generator, it's like the energy, so pushing, pushing, pushing until there's no battery. So for you, since your challenge is more to go faster, your
Yeah.
life lesson would be, so how has it shown for you? Like what was your, so like what was the big thing? Like you mentioned this experience at work that was very difficult. Can you tell me more about how do you see your South Node is transforming, like your ex life path is shifting from South Node to North Node? What do you think you're going towards? That the invitation for you?
Actually, I think I'm still learning a lot because I don't think I have all the answers. But one thing I can say, like, I have started trusting the universe more because there were times when I thought, like, this is the end. But then, something will, like, a road will show up or, a door will open. So I think, like, for me, I still don't know. Like, some people claim that I know what I want to do and all that. I would say, yeah, one thing is sure that I want to give back. Like, I want to do something for the society, specifically, like, because I'm living in India. So, if I can, I have the dream of, sponsoring like a child's education. And, like, yes, I want to give back in any way. Uh, that could be like, sharing my experiences or my knowledge with others and, sharing with those who can't afford it and changing their lives. But other than that, I still don't know like where I'm going, and I am fine with it because I think we just need. I have started trusting my intuition even more. I have started trusting the universe even more, and yes, there's like that soul calling that I think calls me, and then I start doing certain things without questioning, because otherwise earlier I would start using my logic, that rational mind. But now I trust my intuition. Okay, if it says, if it is asking me to do something, I'm not gonna question.
That's so interesting because you have a background in science, right? In technology. So
Right.
the first part, not maybe not the
Yeah.
full part, first part of your life, but a big chunk of your life has been more about this logical and rational mind.
Right. And I mean, like, I still like to use that side. I still like, I teach programming also, so I like that using the logic and everything. And like, like we discussed earlier also, right? Like, uh, sometimes you have to use your logic. It's not like you just have to take risk. I always say take calculated risks, but I think it comes with experience, because there have been times where I feel like I should have used my logic more than my the emotional side. But I think yeah, it comes with experience, and with time I think I also started meditating a lot because certain things happened and I was like, okay, what was that? Right? You were using your logic and everything, but still things don't turn out the way you wanted them to be. So that made me question that, yeah, there needs to be balance again.
But isn't it also that even when you follow your intuition, things don't turn out necessarily the way you thought they would?
Right. Yes, yes. I mean, they will not turn out the way you wanted them to be, but it is always for the, like they say, for the highest good. Like, something good will come out of it, always. What I feel is, because I think I'm naturally very positive person. So if there is some like Debbie Downers who want to talk about, negative things all the time, I can really piss them off. Because I'm like, I will always think about, like, okay, no, but okay, maybe this did not turn out the way we wanted it to be. Maybe we can, see something else, what else we can do with it or something, right? So I think having
Yeah,
that
you see the silver
positive
lining.
attitude is very important. Yes, yeah, yeah. That I think is very important. And just trusting like your soul's calling. That I think is very important.
So you coming from a more logical way of approaching life, how did you make this shift of listening to intuition? And also I want to precise, I think listening to emotions is not the same as listening to your intuition.
Right.
There are three things. You can listen to your logical, rational side, you can listen to your emotions, and you can listen to your intuition, right?
Right. I think yes. I think when you're listening to your emotions, it's more of like, uh, there are like, uh, so when you're listening to your emotions, for me, like it's been like, more of my shadow self speaking. So there will be some fears or some doubts, or maybe, some past traumas or experiences. That is more of like when I'm listening to my emotions. And intuition is like, that is like a different experience. I don't know if I'll be able to put it in like the right words, but when I'm listening to my intuition, it just feels right. There is no like, maybe there is a 1% fear or something, but it always feels right when I'm listening to my intuition. With emotions, it is always like, something is wrong. I'd always know. And the logical mind, that is always like, okay, again, I think with logic also, and logic, I associate logic more with my experiences, because earlier I remember I was very naive also. So whatever, like, the life experiences and everything, that made me more logical. That, okay, last time I tried this, that's what happened. Now this time I'm not gonna try this. Something of that sort. But as a highly, now again, and that's why I feel like it's so important to, use all these tools, like, your shadow work, inner child healing, knowing about your north node and south node. That really helped me, because as a highly sensitive person, yes, I did have that logical side. I still do. But I was always like curious about, life, and, finding joys in those, simple moments. And sometimes, people don't really. So let's say there is a movie running on the TV, and I will, I'll see something and I'll start crying. And everybody else is like, what was that? It was not that emotional and all that. So I think I still had that side. But again, being an INFJ and all that, it's a multifaceted personality.
Oh, we are very
I don't know.
multifaceted
I'm still
being
learning
for
about.
sure.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm still learning about myself.
Yes, and it's probably a lifelong journey. And I hope it is that we
Yes,
discover more and more every year. I think otherwise it would be a bit sad if we
right,
figure out everything quite young and then what, right?
right. Yeah, yeah. Yes. So like, a few weeks ago, I only knew about, North Node and South Node and like, Sun in Sagittarius and all that. Then I come across, this concept of human design. I mean, like, yes, I still feel like, I don't know, like there are so many things that I still don't know about. So yeah, let's hope.
Well, yeah. Well, there are so many tools, but at the end, I think I think people, well, personally, my profile is one. I have a one in human design, which is the investigator. So the one who likes to learn a lot of stuff. So I think I would always be the one who loves to learn all the modalities I can. I feel like I need to learn. I feel like I never know enough. That I need to learn.
Yeah,
But what I understand as well is that these modalities, it's not like it's not one is better than the others, and at the end that they are a little bit different. But at the end,
hmm,
the goal is to just help you to learn yourself and understand yourself better. So it's like one could learn
right,
only, like someone could feel just so in awe and so fulfilled with the learning of astrology that it's enough, uh, and not necessarily they need to learn the rest. Or someone could learn just about the MBTI, like you say, INFG, and that would be enough for them, or something.
right. Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, I wanted to, yeah, to like what you said earlier about the intuition and all of that. I think that also when you use your logic, it seems right, whereas when you use intuition, it feels right. And I think that's different. It seems and it feels.
Yeah.
It's not the
Yeah, you
same.
said it so
When we say it
beautifully.
feels,
Right.
thanks. Yeah, and it feels right, not as in emotional feeling, because often we say, oh, I feel it's
Right.
an emotion, but I think feeling is also a perception, a sense. And since we are highly sensitive people, for us, perceiving and sensing and feeling is like a lot. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of feeling and perceiving and sensing. And also, as a INFJ, I'm INFP, which is quite close. We have a lot of perception. I think in our cognition, there's a
Right.
lot of perceptive thing going on here, and sensing and feeling. But anyway, all that to say, it's for me, I understand that feeling it right. It's inside your body. It's like feeling the energy or feeling the movement
Right.
inside. If it's open, if it's expanded, or if it's tight and constricted, it has nothing to do with
Right.
what's here. It's like a physical reaction,
Yeah, yeah.
really.
Yeah, yeah. I uh relate. I relate to that. Yes, yes. It's hard to explain sometimes, but yeah, I get what you
Yeah,
mean.
it's like an inner knowing. It's a bit like love.
Right.
It's difficult, right, to say
Yes.
for when you've never been in love. So we don't really say, okay, you can describe, oh, feeling love is a wonderful feeling, da 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 da. But it's like it's something you can't really know until you experience.
Right. And what I feel is like again, what I feel, it's like we can learn like all the words, all the languages in the world, but yeah, there are certain things like, I feel like, language will always like it will have a limit. Certain things like you can't really explain.
That's true.
Yeah.
And I would like to go back to that in a bit. But first, I want to ask you
Yeah.
I want to go back to when you talked about that, you know, that one of your purposes in life, like the big one, is to give back. Um, and I think you have already started doing this because you wrote a book and you have a podcast. And that
Yeah.
sounds like very much, it sounds to me like this is a way for you to give back.
Right. I hope so. Yeah, because I think when I started doing, like when I wrote the book or even when I started the podcast, I mean, not for the podcast, like podcast was like actually because its name is Monday Positivity. So most people, don't really like Mondays, right? But for me, again, like, I'm always like trying to, I always try to see the positive side of things. So I'm like, it is like a new week is starting, so we have something to, look forward to, see what we can create, see, how we can change lives and how we can change our life and all that. So that was the main idea behind starting, Monday Positivity podcast. And then, later on, I discovered highly sensitivity. Then I started talking about that, what worked for me, what didn't work for me, tools that worked for me. Maybe, they will work for others also. And then other people started joining. Uh, I had you as a guest. That was like one of the best conversations about, HSP careers and see like how things evolve, right? So I didn't have that in mind that I will connect with someone like we are like in different parts of the world, right? So I think yeah, that's how yeah, and for the book part, that was more of like again I was going through some challenging times and so I decided to challenge myself and I was like um so I wrote one chapter. So it is like 10 days to the ultimate you. So there are 10 days and for every chapter there is an exercise. So actually, I wrote the book for me. Like at that time, I will write every day, I will write one chapter and that one exercise, and then I will work on it. And the next day, the next chapter, whatever comes to mind, and the next exercise, and I will work on it. And after like 10 days, I was sort of able to, come out of that Um, I would say I had hit the, how do you say it, rock bottom. So I was able to come out of that. And after 2 years, I realized that it changed my life. I think I should, share with others. I don't know if they will resonate because I received many negative comments as well at that time when the book came out. But then again, like, um, yeah, that was like the main idea to, help others. And I'm also very like self-critical. I used to criticize myself a lot. You don't know enough. You have to, start doing things quickly. Why you're like this, why you're like that. And then others also, when they tell you like, okay, yeah. And somehow I feel like I had the idea who were those people. They were, writing all the nasty comments on the posts and everything. I think I knew who they were, but then, I was again like I went into that spiral again that, why did you write this book? Why did you this and that? Then I went back to the first exercise of the book. And it's about, how to deal with failures and how to come out of that. Then I did that exercise again and I was like, yeah, I don't care who says what. But yeah, it was a
I
good
love
journey, I
that.
would
That's
say.
amazing. Yes, it's
Yeah,
amazing. Okay, wow.
yeah,
So you wrote the book, you were at the rock bottom moment. You wrote the book to take care of yourself, basically, to lift you up. It's a kind of inner child healing, I think. It's like, okay, you're in charge of yourself, you're taking care of yourself, you're leading you through a difficult time with love and nurturing. And by doing this, you can benefit others as well.
right, yeah. And I wasn't aware of those terms at that time. So yeah, awareness is very
And you
important.
wrote, yeah, and you wrote it in 10 days. Whew! Wow.
Yeah, because I
You were,
didn't really have the time.
this goes to show that we don't have to wait for the perfect moment to start a creative project and to see it through. You don't need to have a lot of time ahead to have. I said that I think every at all on all my podcast episode. I think it's also a very good a good reminder for me because of the
Yeah, yeah,
anxiety and this perfectionist. I think many of us HSP are so perfectionist. I'm not saying we are all because we're different, but I've noticed so many perfectionist tendencies, and this is it's kind of fear, it's anxiety, and manifesting. It's like, no, you don't need it to be perfect. You just need to go for it. Trust you. Like as you say, you started just one day writing a chapter. You even don't need to know where it's gonna go. I think when we plan ahead too much, at least for us, if we plan ahead too much and we say, okay, it's gonna look like that and da 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 and da da da, it's too structured and this is very rigid and that's very scary because we have naturally highly sensitive people, we have high standards. I think we do have high standards because we have so much imagination and we notice so much detail and subtleties. Of course, we are doing this to ourselves too. But if we give like if we have a list of things like then of course it feels so scary and so constricting and therefore we can never live up to it. Whereas if we just accept to be courageous enough, trusting in ourselves enough, and actually letting go of the agenda, it doesn't matter what it's gonna look like. Doing it because we need it, because we know it's gonna make us feel good, then that's enough. Then we can do it. I think that's so important for creative project, for something related to self-expression. Self-expression is about expressing yourself, not about limiting and censoring yourself and having criteria, tight criteria, and trying to check them. That's not creative. That's not self-expression.
yeah, yeah. I think, yeah, you said it so beautifully. Yes, yes. It should be self-expression, not self-analysis. Right.
Or self-construction.
Yeah, yes.
You were able to transform a difficult moment into a beautiful thing.
Yeah, right.
And that's creativity.
I had to, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Another point that I think is so important is vulnerability. Because, okay, you wrote the book, it helped you. You went for it. That's courageous. You allowed yourself to just be you in the moment and to follow your hunches. But then you shared it and you said you faced criticism. And this is something that I see so crippling for HSPs and creatives. It's this fear of criticism and also the difficulty to show yourself as really you are, like being vulnerable. It's so tough. How did you
right.
handle that? How did you navigate that? Like
That
letting the world sees you, like letting the world
for
see
who
the
you are,
true you with your weaknesses and your strengths, but also actually they are not real weaknesses, but it's often how we perceive it with flaws.
right,
Like saying out loud, I
right.
didn't go well at that time. I was not perfect. I had flaws.
Yeah, I think it was difficult. And once I, started receiving it, and it's not like I was only receiving negative comments. I was also receiving, many positive reviews and messages. But, it is like human, our brain's tendency, maybe we like, brain always goes to like, okay, what is wrong? What is wrong? So I think for some time I sort of like shut myself down. I just completely shut off and I stopped, watching um, any YouTube or using Instagram or anything. And then there were a few people who were asking, they were following me for a long time and they started asking like why you're not posting anything and all that. But at that time again, like I think I needed to sort of like take care of myself first. And with me, like that's like there will be many people who have the same thing. But for me, like if I'm going through something, people around me, they will not really know. If someone else is going through something around me, I will always like pick up. I don't know how it goes, but if I'm going through something, there is like, it's really hard to tell. So at that time, like I didn't really know if I should share it with someone or some like what I obviously like uh talked about it with my like I talked to my husband about it. And yeah, I mean, then I started watching other, I joined a Facebook group. I think you were also part of that group. So I, read posts about, other people and I started watching YouTube videos on highly sensitive people. And then many people, who went through the same struggles and everything. And then I think one thing that I realized, um, first I thought maybe I should change the second draft of my book, right? Or maybe I should, like change something. But I think now what I've realized, it's not always about, changing that thing. It's about finding the right audience. So I was like, because I was still receiving comments and reviews from people who were talking about like, one girl, she said that, it was like a healing map for me, like your book. And that really made my day. And then there were other comments that, I was looking for something like this for a long time and it really changed my life. And then I thought like maybe like people who are actually reading the book, some of them, maybe it's not really for them. Because for me, what I feel like every book, it has something to offer you. Every person has something to offer to this world, right? But it's like, again, it's the matter of finding, that right audience, people you actually resonate, uh, people who can, resonate with your experiences and, they can use those lessons or tools or techniques to change their lives because they have also gone through the same things. So I think yeah, that was one of the lessons. And now I don't really care if somebody says that I didn't like it. I'm like, yeah, then pick some other book. Now I don't really care because I think it's, yeah, it's about, yeah,
And it's not you. If they don't like the book, it has nothing to do with you.
Right.
Actually, it's even nothing to do with the
That was
book. It has to
also
do with this person.
right. Yeah, yeah. And again, it goes back to, that inner child healing, shadow work, because I've seen people project a lot. Like, something else is going on inside you, but you're projecting it on other people. So, yeah. And my
Yes.
own shadow work journey, my own inner child healing, it actually helped me understand others also. So if they are like putting out nasty comments out there, I understand, like I'm like, yeah, get well soon.
Yeah, you said it really nicely. Yes, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
It's, yeah. People are actually, I love this quote by Maya Angelou. People quickly tell you who they are, believe them. And it's true,
Yeah.
at least at the
Yes, yes.
moment, who they are at the moment.
Right. I love that. Yeah, yes.
And it's scary to be vulnerable, to show your vulnerability out in the world, especially as an HSP. But
Hmm.
when you remember your intention, why you're doing this, and when you realize that by doing so, you kind of give permission to others to feel what they're feeling or to go through what they're going through. It's like validating the experience. Then
Right.
it's not about you anymore. It's not about you feeling shameful or embarrassed, all of that. I mean, you might still feel that, but it's not that important anymore. When you know, when you remember,
Right.
and when you know, when you realize, and when you're conscious about that, by being vulnerable, by being
Hmm.
uncomfortable, you're allowing others to heal, to feel better, to give them hope, to give them. It's like being more humans together, in a way.
Right.
So it's nice. So then it's easier because we get lost in our fears, in our minds, in our all this projection, and we get somehow we get trapped in all our things that are going on in our head, in our heart, in our life, da, 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 and we forget that others are going through similar things. Yeah, we're all unique, but
Right.
we're also all the same. We are all humans. We all go through the same, some more or less, and we all have shadows, dark sides that
Right.
we can't face. We all have a little inner child within us who is scared. I think most of us
Right.
had some, we have some level of childhood trauma, and therefore it's safe to say that if you go through something, there are other people who go through similar things. Like we are not
Right.
alone. You are not alone. They are not alone, and yeah, and then
Yeah.
finding the way, our medium to express it and to share with the right audience, as you
Right.
said, it's invaluable and it's very healing as well at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, yes.
So
I think you said it so
where
beautifully.
can
Yeah.
thank you. I have a few questions I like to ask, a few sensitivity questions I like to ask at the end of
Hmm.
our conversation. I would like you to tell me what is creative energy for you?
Wow. Mm. Creative energy. That's an interesting question. Um, I think creative energy for me, like if I get it right, like for me, I think energy is creativity, I think in itself, but we sort of give it a shape because, like, I'm from a science background as well. And as they say, energy can never be destroyed, it can never be created. It only, changes form, it only transforms from one shape to another. So I think energy is always there. It's just, how you like what. So if you want it to take a matter form, like a physical form, for me, energy in itself is a like a creative, like creativity, right? So it is always changing, form. And because I listen to Joe Dispenza as well, Dr. Joe Dispenza a lot. So it's more of like, uh, yeah, energy is all there, but like how you use it. Even in your body, there is energy, but your thoughts affect your energy, and certain things will show up and all that. So maybe that. I
Okay,
don't know
yeah,
if I answered
that's
it correctly,
that's
but
great. There's no
yeah,
correct answer. It's different for everyone. For me, creative energy,
right.
it's like I would say it's like the spark of life because life is creation for me.
Yeah, right.
So I
Yes.
think,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
but and also the way we have different ways to say it, and and the way you say it is also
Yeah,
very
yeah.
interesting. As you say, energy by definition is change, is creation.
Right. Because I think it's everywhere, like even in this room, right? In your room, in my body, like everything is energy. So, but yes, it
Every,
is everywhere. It's not
I
good or
think
bad, but the way someone uses it. Yeah.
it's like everywhere there is potential for creating.
Right. Yes. Yes, yes. Exactly.
If a genie appeared and granted you three wishes, what would they be?
Okay. Right. So first wish would be world peace, right? Mm, second wish, uh, I want like poverty to be eradicated from all over the world. And third wish would be infinite wishes.
Ah. That's a good one. I mean, they're all really great.
Yeah,
But the third one
yeah,
is, well, some people, this law of attraction, manifestation, what do you say, like manifestation consultants, they say that, like Joy Dispenza as well, your wishes
hmm,
are unlimited. Like you can have anything you want in this world.
right. And also if I think you will know the concept of, parallel realities. And some people think like it's like that woo-woo stuff. But yeah, just I think there are many timelines because I am reading about quantum, what is it, quantum jump? Like what is quantum something? So yeah,
Physics.
there are many timelines. Yeah, 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 quantum physics. Yeah, yes, quantum physics.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah, I believe in that too. Definitely. Yeah.
right.
I think we have a lot. We can talk about a lot of things in the next episode. And my final question is, if you were a color, what color would you be?
Wow. Mm, I think I will be green color because it is related to our heart center, heart chakra. So yes, green color, I will like to spread that because it is also like heart chakra is considered like the center of all, like in the chakra system. I mean, obviously there are more than seven chakras, but if we talk about like seven chakras, it is considered the center. So I want people to connect, more with their heart center. So green, yeah,
I love that. I would be green too.
yeah,
And
right.
if you were a texture,
If I was a texture, mm, I never thought about textures. Can you give me a few options?
could be anything. Like you could be a soft, velvety texture. You could be smooth. You could be like like smooth, like satin. You could be um, fluid, like water, or you could be more
Okay,
like
maybe I'll
rough,
go with,
and or you could be.
yeah, I think I'll go with more of like, soft or satin or something because, again, uh, being the highly sensitive person, I think softness, yeah, soft texture. And what will
Okay,
you choose?
lovely.
Just out of curiosity.
Uh, so maybe I would be like silk,
Mm,
which can be smooth, but sometimes it can be crisp,
yeah,
depending how you weave it.
right.
Uh,
Hmm.
I don't know. That's what comes to me right now.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, that's a good choice. Yeah.
And if you were a scent,
Mm. I will be lavender.
relaxing.
Right.
And a sound?
Sound, I think soft. Is that a type? Yeah, I think
Uh,
like anything melodious that is not very, harsh to the ears.
like a soft piano sonata?
Yeah, piano or even a violin or something. Yeah,
Okay. Violin, you see it as soft?
I think so. What is that like? Is it called a harp? That the one, I saw one lady,
Oh,
play. I think it's called a harp. Yeah,
yes. I think the harp is much softer than violin. I
right,
said that for me, a violin is beautiful, but it usually moves me so much that I want to cry when I listen to
right,
violin because it has this, I don't know, it has something in it that really makes me emotional. Whereas, so
right.
I would
Yeah,
say
yeah,
it's soft, but it can be tormented, I think. Whereas the harp, it's much more peaceful, relaxing.
right. I personally avoid listening to, violins also because it does something to you. I don't know why I said violin, but yeah, harp because I don't want anyone to be, tormented.
Maybe secretly you want to touch people's hearts and you want to raise in them this emotion and awakening so that they can take charge of their life too.
Right. Using harp or using violin?
No, when you said violin,
Okay. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm still learning about
okay, you would
myself.
be a harp then.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
yeah. Uh, uh, yeah, okay, great, lovely. Thank you for answering these questions. And one last thing is how can people find out more about you, work with you? Where can they find your book, your podcast, and all of that?
Okay. So, if they can just type my name, I think they will find all the information. Uh, my like full name is Parul Parashar. So Parul Prashar. They can reach out to me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is at the rate Monday Positivity. Positivity, Positivtea. So Positivity, Monday Positivity. And then I have a YouTube channel dedicated to, podcasts, same name. I'm available on LinkedIn. And my book is available on Amazon, 10 Days to the Ultimate You. So, yes.
That's great. Yes, I
Yeah.
will put all the links in the show notes. Anyway, and are you taking clients
Yeah, yeah.
one-on-one at the moment?
Yes, yes. Mostly, yeah, yes. I'm taking one-on-one only. I used to do like group coaching earlier, but these days I'm doing just one-on-one.
Okay, so if people want to work with you, they can connect through Instagram or your email, your website.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And on Instagram and LinkedIn, I have a link tree also. So there is a link in that link tree where they need to fill the form and just tell me anything I need to know about you, what kind of help you need, what are your life goals and all that. So once they fill the form, I'll get the information and then we can start working.
All right, lovely. Thanks a
Yeah.
lot, Parul, for your time and for your conversation. It was really great talking with you today. I really enjoyed.
Yeah. I am actually honored to be here and I think what you're doing is remarkable. And I would encourage everyone to, just go back and listen to the previous podcasts also. Yeah, they have a lot of like, like I said earlier, golden nuggets. there were a lot of like aha moments for me. So yes, I think what you're doing is truly remarkable. And I enjoyed being part of
Thank,
this podcast.
thank you. Thank you so much. I'm really pleased for your feedback.
Thank you. Yeah,
Thank
thank you.
you.
Thank you for having me.
That's it for today, my friends. I hope you were inspired by this conversation to gain more self trust in yourself, trust your intuition, set boundaries, and go for it. Trust that you have everything already within you and go create. And before I leave you for today, I want to share with you this exciting opportunity, this exciting project I'm created that is going to happen next June 2024.
If this resonates with you and you would love to learn more about how to reconnect to yourself, how to listen to your body, how to connect to your senses, how to be more in touch with your authenticity so that you can lead life according to your own terms, I'd love to invite you to join me and a small group of like-minded souls for a very special retreat in beautiful Provence for 5 magical days to reignite your dormant dreams and desires while cultivating new and exciting possibilities. This will be next June, 6th to 11th of June 2024, so it's next year, and I call it an enchanted interlude in the Biosphere Reserve of Luberon Regional Nature Park. This is a lovely place in the south of France. There is a kind of magic vibe to that place, particularly beautiful in June, with the various shades of greens of the Garrigue and the azure blue sky, the vibrant ochres of the Provençal Colorado, is a natural paradise that invites your heart to soar. This amazing retreat will touch on all your senses and all aspects of your being, physical, emotional, mind, creative, and soul. You'll walk the ochre canyons, listen to the sounds of wildlife, share laughters, give free rein to your creative expression, and relax into rediscovering lost dreams and new possibilities as you celebrate and uncover the next chapter of your life. We will meet our inner wisdom through mindful and creative practices led by me and other local healers: sketching, drawing, watercolor painting, wildlife birdsong reflexology, walks in nature, a cooking workshop, and a herbalist walk. By the end of our 5 nights together, you'll be relaxed, re-inspired, and ready to dive into the next chapter of your life with clarity and newfound confidence in yourself. If this is for you, you can find all the information on my website, rimcreativenergy.com, and I also put all the links in the show notes. If you have further questions, you are not entirely sure if this is for you, or you would like to learn more, to know more about the retreat, feel free to reach out. I am now opening 30 minutes free exploration calls. I'm calling this Retreat Exploration Chat, where you can ask all the questions you have and I can tell you more about the retreat and we can see together if this is the right thing for you. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if it has inspired you, please share it around you. Also, if you feel called to it, please subscribe to the podcast and leave me a review. It really helps to spread the word out. All your questions are welcome. You can send them to me on Instagram at rim.creativenergy.com or email me via my website, rimcreativenergy.com. And don't worry, I'll share in the show notes exactly where to find me. Until next time, sending you loving creative energy.